Hey y'all, what's good? Welcome to this another episode of the Political Chop Shop. Those of you that know me know I constantly talk about the mail-in ballot fraud that could, has, or already has happened in the past. And here recently, within the last probably 30 to 40 days, obviously, I've been tracking it. And, we have the naysayers out there that say, oh, no, it's just as secure, or we have to do it because of COVID. And they push this envelope, right? And I don't think they realize what they're asking for. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, what your political ideology is. I don't care what your political party is, because both 3, 4, 5, 10 different parties can create this manipulation, right? And I think we should all agree, no matter where you believe on a political spectrum or ideologically, that this mail-in voting thing can be a problem. It can be a serious problem. Many folks will deny it, and keep their head in the sand. But we have seen many cases come up about this, and many of you have seen the information I've put out there on social media about just the one thing in New Jersey about a month or so ago, how 20% of the ballots were deemed invalid, and half of those are invalid because they couldn't match signatures. I mean, really think about this a second, right? But we're going to have a serious conversation about this, and we're going to actually talk about this. And I challenge you also to follow the information and look into it, because it could be your ballot. It could be your ballot that could get altered or disqualified because you didn't loop an A correctly, or you didn't cross the T in the right spot. I mean, it's getting petty out here. So, let's go ahead. Let's jump into this real quick here. Let me present this to you guys here. So we have here, we're talking the Wall Street Journal, just an opinion piece came out on June 30th about mail voting gone wrong, right? So let's read it real quick. New Jersey politics isn't known for probity, but at least today it offers a useful warning to the nation. 4 men are accused of committing fraud last month in the city of Paterson's entirely vote-by-mail municipal elections. For one reason or another, county election officials have thrown out 20% of the ballots submitted. This is what I'm talking about, right? With nearly 150,000 people, Paterson is the state's third largest city. Its May 2nd local elections were conducted wholly by mail. Governor Murphy signed an executive order in March saying that ballots would be sent to all registered voters without the need for an application. And boom, that right in lies at the problem, right? Because a lot of my problem with mail-in voting is the fact that they can take that and push the envelope and make you exercise your right to vote, make you exercise your 15th Amendment, right? And we've seen this with motor voter laws in California. You get a driver's license, and boom, there you are. You're a registered voter, right? And then they push out these ballots in the mail without any need for application, right? So this is why this is very important, because there has been people saying they've gotten ballots at their house for people that lived there previously, or for people that don't even live at their residence, and it's some random person that they're sending these ballots to. Now, think about how often that actually happens. Think about that a second. How often does that actually happen? That addresses get ballots, and then people just fill them out and send them back as it's them, and then they get their ballot and they fill it out and send it in, right? What if that person voted a different direction? Well, guess what? That false mail-in ballot just nullified someone else's vote, across town, because they moved and they changed their address, right? So this is a problem within itself, right? And it can sway an election either way, right? Because I personally think we're heading to a situation where this election, if it's majority mail-in ballot, will be nullified. And obviously, if the election is not certified by the December 4th deadline, December 12th deadline, guess what? The Supreme Court will have to get involved and hand it to the House of Representatives. But see, here's the thing, and I don't think Democrats are counting on this. The Republicans that are in the House have the most delegates. Think about that a second. They have the most delegates. And Donald Trump will win the election by default by referring to the Constitution, and House of Representatives elects the president. But enough of that a second. But let's continue on. Let's continue on with this. Just the other day, this article just came out. Yesterday, actually. Mail carrier pleads guilty to altering absentee ballots request switching party affiliations. Yes, they're not ballots, right? But a lot of you have heard me talk about the many different ways mail-in ballots can be altered, right? Or many different places it could, right? I mean, we're starting from the clerk's office to the postal carrier to the sorting facility, from the sorting facility to another letter carrier, from the letter carrier to your home, right? You multiply that times 2. That's 10 different times that ballot can be lost, altered, or what have you. That's too many hands that's in that pot to mess with that ballot. Luckily, in this case, this was just absentee ballot request, but let's look how easy it was for this letter carrier in West Virginia to make this change, right? If you see here out of Elkins, West Virginia, a West Virginia postal carrier pleaded guilty to altering mail-in requests for absentee voter ballots. Thomas Cooper entered a plea in federal court in Elkins to attempting election fraud and injury to the mail, as reported by the USA there in West Virginia. So Cooper was charged with 8 mail requests for absentee ballots, had their parties affiliations altered. We just need to stop right there. This guy altered these people's absentee ballot requests and flipped them from Democrat to Republican. Think about that a second. Now think of how easy it would be to alter a mail-in ballot that way and potentially seal it back up where it looks normal. Now you'll be able to tell, right? Obviously, if the envelope has been opened, etc. But again, if people are in on it, it's not even going to matter, right? I mean, we have to assume that everybody down the line is in on it because you can't trust anybody with your rights but yourself. And if the government wants to go in and start changing the ballots, will we hold them all accountable at the same time, right? All right, this is very important here, right? Because the letter carrier altered these. He altered these, and he turned around and tried to say it was a joke, right? If we read further down in this article here, let's see where we're going here. Okay, so look here. According to the affidavit, when he was then asked about the other requests, the three requests, he said, "I'm not saying no, but if the requests were picked up along the postal route, I would take the blame." Cooper was then asked if he was just being silly, and he replied, he just did it as a joke and that he didn't know those voters. Doesn't matter. Here, again, full stop, right? Full stop. It doesn't matter if he knows these cats or not. Full stop, right? The fact of the matter that he did it. The fact of the matter that he did it is a problem within itself. But these people out here want to go with all mail-in ballots for a federal election. They want to go all in And I know some of you naysayers out here about this mail-in balloting is sitting here still watching me in denial as I present the evidence to you right here that it happened. I mean, we really need to have a conversation about this. We really do. Like, does your vote even matter, or does it only matter because they vote for your side? Right? We got to get out of this partisanship nonsense altogether. We got to get out of it altogether. We have to, because if one side's going to cheat, the other one will cheat to compensate. But if we all band together and say, "Oh hell no," it will change, right? I got another story for you here out of New York. New York, let me pull it up full-fledged here. New York accused of denying too many absentee ballots without fixes, right? And as we read here, New York election officials were sued for allegedly violating the rights of voters by rejecting mail-in ballots at one of the highest rates in the United States without giving voters a chance to address possible irregularities. Tens of thousands of voters are disenfranchised each election in New York without so much as a notice, as noted by the League of Women Voters of the United States, said in a complaint filed Wednesday in federal court in Manhattan. The voter organization alleged that in 2018 alone, New York rejected almost 14% of the absentee ballots it received, the highest rate in the country. The lawsuit seeks to force the state to give voters a chance to fix any problems with their ballots, including signatures that do not appear to match. See, again, right? This matching signatures and all this is too much trouble. It's too much trouble behind this. You know, people's handwriting can change on a daily basis, right? How do you match that, right? How do you truthfully match that, right? And I'm going to use the social media giants as an example and come back to this in a second, right? But, you know, we have social media giants saying that if a person says a certain thing, they're gone. They're deemed as a terrorist, right? Or if they, you know, if they even type a certain word and it looks questionable, boom, they're gone. Same instance here. That signature's a little off, boom, it's done. Your ballot is invalidated. And they can do that just about to every single ballot because no one signs their signature exactly the same every single time. And sometimes not even close in some cases. Not even close. So again, how can we trust the people we're sending our mail-in ballots through, right? Postal carrier, just change some absentee ballot applications, change their affiliation, right? And then we have people that can't match signatures. I mean, this whole mail-in ballot thing is a complete fraud. It is a complete fraud, and it is ripe, as we have seen, for corruption. So I ask all of you to stand up. We need y'all to stand up and say, hey, this mail-in balloting is nonsense. There's too many things that can go wrong, which I have given you examples of these exact same things that can happen. What if it's your ballot? What if it's your ballot for Donald Trump that gets flipped for Joe Biden for some reason? Or if it's your vote for Joe Biden that gets flipped to Donald Trump? Think about that a second. Something about, huh? As I said, we have to save the integrity of our elections. We have to. We don't have a choice in the matter. We don't have a choice. Because if we let these people run away with this, no telling where we're going to go. I don't care about COVID or Rona or any of them. Spanish flu. I don't care about any of those viruses and coughs and stuff like that. I really don't care about them, right? Because see, here's the thing. If we have to put on masks at the request of business owners to go into their businesses, if states and local mayors, county mayors can impose public mask wearing mandates out, why can't we vote in person? Why can we not vote in person? If that's the case, right? Why can't we vote in person? I don't want to hear the argument about congregation of people, because we've already been through that, and their hypocrisy is real on that one, real and blatant. So why can't we vote in person? And I'm tired of hearing the excuses about COVID. I'm tired of it. We need to advocate for voting in person, or I should say the first thing we should do is advocate for voting in person, period. If you get a mail-in ballot, you don't have to fill it out and send it back. You go to the polls. Demand of your clerk, it's not too late. Demand of your county clerk or city clerk, whoever runs your elections or supervisor of elections, we want the polls open. We need to set this up and figure it out, because they obviously got everything else figured out because of COVID. We can figure this one out, right? Don't mail in your mail-in ballot. Go to the polls and put it in yourself. That way, you know the integrity, the integrity of your vote, right? You know who's handled your vote. Boom, you put it in there. That's it. Game over. Not 60 hands touching your vote. And the third thing is we have to make sure people are mobilized to vote. That's the second thing. Make sure your friends and family, your community, your neighbors are registered to vote. And preach to them, and talk to them about why mail-in balloting is a huge issue. Because either party can steal an election, right? Either party. I mean, we have to keep it where it is. Our rights are more important and transcends any party or any ideology. Our vote is more important than playing sides. This is not we can't play sides on this. So that's all for me. I hope y'all got a little bit of information out of this and all that good stuff. I have another video coming out here probably in a few hours, talking about some other stuff with Joe Biden and his relentlessness to still go after the ladies of the poor in Pennsylvania. So I'll bring that to y'all here in a little bit, but I appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure you check out right here the bpmg.us and bpindependent.com. Make sure you check that out, and make sure you're subscribed to the Conservative Enclave podcast on all your major podcast platforms. Until next time, y'all be easy, and we'll be back later.